get too distracting by moving around or using my hands, just let me know. It's just something to do.
How you told yourself to do it, Rocket.
What do you do? I'm just gonna pray before I start because I don't know what I'm gonna say, honestly. God told me to let it happen, so it's gonna happen when it happens. All right, Lord, I just want to thank you again for this time we get to spend with you, this time that is just so glorified to you, God. And Lord, please use me as you will, Jesus, and I pray for your words to come out, and let your will be done in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so first off, this doesn't really have anything to do with Russia, but I got this verse the other night, and I just feel like I need to share it. And it says, "Be taken up and thrown into the sea, and if you do not doubt in your heart, but believe that what you say will come to pass, it will be done for you. So I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours." Like, guys, just that blew my mind that we can pray for something. If we have faith as small as a mustard seed, it says that there's a verse in here that says, you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can tell a mountain to move and it will move for you. And if you have faith that what you ask for in your life, if you have faith that you receive it, it is yours. And that's encouragement, I don't know, just for the week, just to continue praying for your friends, for your family, whatever you need. God hears you. He knows your smallest desires. And He knows that. And that's just, it's such an encouragement to me, because going through I didn't have the money. I had maybe $5,000 from a car crash that I would have died in 5 years ago. I would have died in that car crash because it was a head-on collision by a drunk driver, and she made a U-turn, didn't realize she's in the wrong lane, and if I didn't have my seatbelt on, I would have been ejected from the car. My dad saw it and said, "It's a miracle you're alive." And from that, I got $5,000 and paid for my first half of my thing. I didn't know where my second half was going to come from. And being in such a place of desperation, of needing something like that, of money that every day we need, it's just like, oh man, I don't know if I have faith for this. I've never been pushed to such a limit of, God, I need you now. Like, I need you to be here for me. And that's the one thing I would say, YWAM or Youth with Mission, or this whole experience has done for me is grown my faith. And through that, that's why I'm here today. Like, this is why I'm speaking in front of you, because I've had faith that God will come through. That's fine. I guess I'm talking about faith tonight. All right, cool, God. Anyways, so I'm going to share my story about my dad. I'm a biological dad. So I haven't spoken. I never spoke to my dad. I didn't know him for 18 years of my life. I'm 18 years old right now. I knew when I was 10, my parents sat me down and said, "Ragen, we think you're old enough to know that your dad is not your biological dad." And I've always been so blessed. Like, I love my dad. He's not like my stepdad, I guess. It's so hard for me to say stepdad because he's not my stepdad. But anyways, my stepdad, I've always viewed him as my dad. Never thought anything different. And then when I had to change my name, like, I always went by one last name up until 6th grade, and then going into 6th grade, I had to change it to something else. I didn't even know how to spell it. And when my dad told me this, I wasn't hurt. I wasn't angry. I wasn't anything. I was in such shock that I was just in tears. I was like, that's okay. And my dad, nothing's changed. And I had faith that my dad would be there for me the rest of my life, because he always was. Well, anyways, skip a few years forward. I was 15, and my parents were trying to get adoption papers signed. And Brian, my biological dad, messaged me over Facebook saying stuff like, you have the right, that every child, I want you to have the right, that every child has to know their father. And I was like, I have a dad. And being 15, and there was other things that were said that just, I've forgiven him for it. And I never had any resentment towards him. I was like, if you ever want to talk to him, go ahead. It's an open communication. We lived in his mom's house for the majority of my growing up, and I never met him once. And so it just blew my mind that when I was 15 years old, he messaged me on expecting me to make a difference in this result, or this adoption thing. And so I responded back to him as best as I could, being 15 years old, not knowing the situation, like as far as I was concerned, him and my mom had not discussed anything. And I told him, I said, I think you need to talk to my mom before anything can be done. And that was the only communication we had my whole life, up until now. So I get to YWAM, and 2 weeks into it, we're learning about the Father heart of God, and how he loves us so dearly, and how he wants us to forgive, and how we have to forgive to receive love. Ultimately, forgiveness and unforgiveness is what will hinder you throughout your whole life. If you cannot forgive, you cannot love. If you cannot love, you're not spreading God's love. And that's just, it's crazy. The one simple act of forgiveness, you're hindering yourself. But anyway, so we are sitting in this group learning about the Father heart of God, and our leader, Drew, he was like, I have this strange thing to talk about daddy issues, and he told us his dad issues, and I never had any resentment towards Ryan whatsoever. It is what it is, it happened, and so going through that, I was just like, I don't really have any dad issues. I guess I can bring this up. And as soon as I said Brian's name, it was like walls broke down, and I was sobbing. I was so angry. I did not want to talk to him. I didn't know why this happened. I was angry at the fact that he left my mom and left me, for matter of fact, and that's where all of my striving for people to be in my life. And I didn't realize that relationships, boyfriends, friends, I was always so ready for them to leave. But I didn't know why. It just didn't make sense in my life. I was like, I have a perfect life. This doesn't make sense. And then it all made sense when that happened. And God shielded me from that so I could come to this point of forgiveness and learn forgiveness. And he's like, you have to message him. You have to message him and tell him that you forgive him. I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. I don't want to do it. Isn't it enough that I've said I forgave him? I forgave him. That's all that matters, And so I basically, it took me a few days to get up the courage to even message him, because I felt like, oh, why stir the pot? Why stir the pot if I don't need to? If I have a perfect family at home, when I say perfect, it's not, oh, dandy all the time. I'm blessed. That's what I mean when I say perfect. But I didn't want to stir the pot. I felt like I was betraying my family, who had just betraying the loyalty, and I didn't want to betray that loyalty. And me being Italian, my mom was always like, it's a joke, but family back east, very grew up in the mob, and you can't betray the loyalty. You can't betray the loyalty, and it's a joke. She's never really serious, but that was I can't betray them. How can I do that to my mom, who went through all this, raised me, and my dad, who didn't even have to be there in my life, yet he chose to be my father. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. I wasn't going to do it. My mom asked me about it. My dad brought it up. He's like, you can do this. I was like, okay. So I messaged Brian. Anyways, he took me a few days to respond. He responded. He's like, I'd love to call. And God's like, you need to call him now. I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I've never spoken to him. I don't know what his voice sounds like. I don't know what he looks like. Why would I call him? Shouldn't he be the one who calls me? God's like, no, you need to call him. This is for him as much as it is for you. I was like, okay, God. So literally, I picked up the phone a few days later, and I was shaking so bad as I put the phone up. I was talking to my roommates. I was like, gosh, you need to pray for me. I don't know what I'm doing. I felt like I was going to throw up. I felt like I was going to pass out. I was like, as it was ringing, I was like, God, please don't let him answer. Please don't let him answer. Please don't let him answer. Sure enough, he didn't answer. I left him a voicemail. What I think my voice sounded pretty, calm. The calm within the storm. But, it was amazing, because a few days passed, I forgot I called in. I was at peace because I did what God said to do. And just side note, if you don't do what God says to do, you will be in torment forever. I swear to you. Oh, it sucks. Anyways, I'm back on track. I was at peace, we were walking back from Walmart. It was a 15-minute walk. I never hear my phone ring. It was an old phone. Never hear it ring when it's quiet. I was surprised I heard it ring when there's traffic going by us, My friend and I were talking, and all of a sudden I pick up my phone, expecting it to be my mom. She's the only one who called me in Hawaii, or in Hawaii at any point in time. And sure enough, it was him. And I looked at the phone. I was like, okay. Like I was at such peace. I was like in amazement because the other day I was about to pass out. And I was just like, oh, okay. Answer the phone, and it was the most releasing conversation I've ever had in my life. It was, he wanted to know about me, and I was honest with him. If you get to know me, I'm a very blunt person. I tell you what's on my mind when it's there, and he's like, well, I just have so many questions, and I don't want to overwhelm you. I was like, no, you can ask away, just don't be offended if you don't like an answer I give you. He was like, oh no, that's perfect. I was like, okay. So we talked for 2 hours, and it was awesome. And then I needed like $2,500 for the last part of my lecture phase, and then I needed my whole it was like around $5,000 for my outreach to Russia. And I didn't know where it was coming from. I did fundraising. I sent out letters. I called people. People just weren't responding. And I was like, God, what do you want me to do? Because the state of my land is, or anywhere I guess you could say, I hate using YWAM as a euphemism because it's so, that's the only place God shows up, and it's not. God shows up everywhere. Right. And so, a lot of the time people would say, do the possible and not do the impossible. And I was like, I'm doing the possible, God, and don't know what else you want me to do. And our whole team needed funds. Like, we were one of the most expensive outreaches, and it was just a lot of money for everyone, and everyone needed it, and we were all praying, and one of my teammates, her name is Sadie, crazy girl, sees things all the time. Like, we're like, you cannot possibly be seeing this much. It's not possible for you to be seeing things. She'd be like, oh, out there in the middle of, like, branches and twigs and stuff, she'd see a red chair, and what are you talking about? And then God would give her the download, oh, that's awesome, okay, I guess you really can see things. But anyway, she saw stallions, like huge, like if you can picture black stallions, like raging, but they were in the gate. And God said, I'm going to release the flood if you can let go of some things. And right away, my mind was like pride. I've always been a very prideful person, like, gotta be the best at everything that I can do. Gotta be the best, gotta be the best. Gotta be the best at grades, gotta be the best at athletics, gotta be the best, at whatever I do. And it wasn't, that's just kind of how I was raised. Like, you're not mediocre, you're excellent at what you do. And that kind of raised me with some pride issues, and pride is a bad thing, very bad thing. Using it over extensively. But, pride, and right away, after pride came into mind, it was like, you need to ask Brian for money. It's like, I'm not about to ask this dude, who I've never met, barely just talked to for 2 hours, nonetheless, And I was like, I'm not going to ask him for money. This is insane. And I was like, yeah, you are. You're going to ask him? I was like, I cannot do that. So sure enough, a few days later, after I try to do my best to get up the courage, I call him up and I'm like fumbling around with my words, like, I know this is such short notice, but do you think you would want to sponsor me? I need some money. And it was horrible. Worst sales pitch you would ever do in your life. And so, sure enough, he paid for half of my trip. He paid for at least $6,000 for my trip. And it was all because I forgave him and I followed what God wanted me to do. And I had faith the whole time. And it's those little things like, okay, God, I'm going to have faith that in these little moments, you're not thinking ahead, but it's very, okay, God, I'm forgiving, and I'm going to have faith in what you want me to do. I'm going to have faith that no matter what, you're going to take care of me. And sure enough, with little things, God can blow them up. And it's like, you do the impossible, God will do the impossible. And it was just complete, I was just in amazement. And if you don't have your money, you have to sit down with your core staff, the leaders of the school, and some of the people. And at one point, I had to sit down with my leaders because it was outreach. I needed money for the rest of the money for outreach. I didn't have it. Deadline was in like 2 weeks. And work for what you want. And even my leader was like, yeah, I see you sitting just under a tree in the shade, just waiting on God and letting Him love you. And so I was like, okay. And then that was when Brian did another like transaction and led to like almost $6,000. $100 came in here, $100 came in here, and then the best part of this whole story is it was the day of the final, like the deadline, or else people would start to be sent out. The whole team didn't have the funds. One girl didn't have her lecture paid off, she didn't have her outreach paid off, and she needed all this money. But then the night before, someone donated her whole lecture phase and her whole outreach. And then the next day, we're all praying. Our visas hadn't come in yet because we got started late. So literally, as we're sitting there, we were the only, there was like 3 teams who didn't have their visas because the politics in Russia were bad with America, and then all this stuff just led up, and it took forever to do. Anyways, all of them came in. Our staff, our leader Miriam, she's from Denmark, so she had to send her visa from America to Denmark, to Russia, back to America to get it to her. Came in that day. Came in with all of our passports and visas came in that day. Then my friend, our teammate Nicole, she gets a message over Facebook from this guy who's an atheist, doesn't believe in God, but all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I just really feel like I'm gonna pay off your whole team's debt. Our whole team was paid off. My last little $1,050 was done. Her trip was paid, Miriam's trip was paid, Max, our leaders were paid, everyone was paid off, and we went to Russia. And it's just amazing, and having faith that and again, I say, when you're in such a desperate place, you're like, I cannot do anything but worship God and say, God is good. He will give you the desires of your heart. You pray for it, and you believe that you receive it, you receive what you pray for, Of course, I say that with be open to that, because if you're going to pray for drugs, God, I want drugs. It's not going to happen. To be honest, it's good. You pray for what's on God's heart. You pray for things that, if someone's sick, pray for the healer, and it will be done. And there's things that happen that God, that you can't explain. God, why didn't you heal this person? I cannot tell you how many times I've been told to have faith. And I was like, okay, I pray for faith. I have immense amounts of faith. And with that, because we learned about 3 different spiritual gifts. There's the eyes of God, the mouth of God, and the hands of God. And the hands of God are faith, miracles, and wonders. And I wanted so badly to have the eyes of God to see into the spiritual. There's people who can see demons, see angels, discern those things. And I've experienced that once. And I was so in love with it. I was like, God, I want that so bad. I want that so bad. Give me the eyes of God. Give me the spiritual discernment. And God was like, no, faith. That's the only word I got when I started. I was like, faith? That doesn't make sense. All Christians have to have faith to even believe in you. Why do I need more faith? And so I prayed about it. I was like, faith, faith, faith. Okay, faith. Came with wonders and miracles. I was like, okay, that's cool if I can go pray for people who are healed. That's awesome. And not to this day, I've never seen a healing. But I have faith that when I pray for someone, God will heal them, whether it's in my time or His time. And that's what you have to remember. If you pray for something, and you have faith for it, it's not going to be in your time. It's not going to be instant gratification. Sometimes it happens. Like Luke's story of the healing was God showing him, and God does things to show you things personally, to show that person something. And other times it's to, build faith. And that's constantly what He's doing with me, and it's very patient with faith. That's how you flex your faith muscle, I guess you could say, is being patient and having, okay, God, it's not really happening right now, but, well. And, so I get home from Russia, which was amazing. So amazing. You guys, I will open up about Russia anytime. But I get home from Russia, and Nathan, my younger brother, he got his license a few months before I got home. And in our driveway, we have a big truck, we have a small car. truck or the car and backed into my driver's side door and dented it to the point of it won't open. Well, before I left, the locks, because it's an old 85, maybe I reinstalled like new locks, so they're automatic. But because we tried to jimmy it one night, because he was at his girlfriend's house, locked the keys in the car, and we needed to get in, the car was running, and we had to jimmy it. Well, the system on BMW is that it automatically locks all the doors, and you can't pry it open, can't do anything. So I could not get in my car for life. Like nobody, we were down to one car, and it just, I kept praying. I was like, God, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to, I can work as hard as I can, I can get 2 jobs to buy a new car, to pay for my car. Like, what do you want me to do? He's like, no, be patient. I remember specifically going outside because on my remote I have an automatic start on my clicker thing, and it started. I was like, oh, this sucks, and maybe I can get in my car, maybe it'll unlock. And it wouldn't do it. It was like, God, just open it. And I remember he said sternly, no. I was like, no, be patient. Okay, all right, down to one car. I've got to go to work. My dad's got to go to work. Nathan does what he does. My mom does other stuff. And we're down to one truck. Like, it's financially killing. Gas money, constantly, needing to do all this stuff. And so finally, my dad has this amazing, brilliant idea that can only come from God, because it just can't. He gets this idea to pry the door open. He hammered like this old piece of metal, and we pushed the sunroof open. Like there's a button for the sunroof, and I climbed in. The door opens. My door opens from the inside. We rolled down the window to the passenger, broke the lock, and now that door opens. So that's awesome. We have 2 cars now. But then this morning, I have to go to a church with my brother to put gas in. And my mom's going to take the truck because Nathan wants to leave anyways. And we only have 2 cars for a family of 5. And that's okay. We've worked with it, since I turned 16. Because it was never that big a deal. And all of a sudden, I get this call from my mom. And my dad's out of town on a Chico race for bikes or whatever. And she's like, the truck won't start. It won't even click open. There's something wrong with the starter, intake, air intake, whatever, and where the battery's at. And I get home and I'm gonna go, do the deal with rebooting the car. Jumper junkies, there you go. Quick thing of the word. Anyways, I was gonna jump the car, and I was like, it's not the battery. It's not. Like I could tell it wasn't the battery. Sounds weren't there. And I was like, God, what is this? Why? All of a sudden, my car's gone. 2 weeks with having 2 cars, and then the other one's gone. Like, what is going on? And it's like, have faith. That's constantly coming. Have faith. It's a testing. Just have faith. Like, it's so important to have faith. To just have faith. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to be like, okay, I really don't have money to do anything. I don't have money to go out, fix things, do things, or I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't, for people who are graduating, going on to new things, or wanting to do new things, I don't know what I'm